All right.
Just getting started now. Sweet.
Michael, you're not playing today.
I'm not playing.
Why are you not playing today?
I haven't played Legacy recently a bit. I'm just a bit out of practice with playing the format.
Right.
I did a bunch of research and got across the decks and things, but I haven't got a deck of my choice to play, so
Yeah,
I figured
fair
I'd sit this one out and contribute this way instead.
Look, I mean, the format's, it could be summed up in one word, Oko.
I'll say Rug Delver. It's a...
Yeah.
Delver Secrets, yeah.
Oko versus Oracle, basically.
Might see. I suspect looking around the room today, we'll see a lot of Rug Delver, a lot of Oko, a lot of Delver of Secrets, and very little Doomsday and Thassa's Oracle.
Okay.
But we'll see how we go.
Okay. Am I still okay? Yeah, I'm still okay. We're streaming. We're live, baby.
Just...
The internet can hear you, so, you know.
It's really precarious.
It sure looks precarious. Oh boy, don't send an OH&S officer in here to inspect our setup. That would be a bad thing.
I don't know how else to fix it. It's really precarious.
It's all good. It's all good.
The internet can hear you. Tell them how pretty it is.
You hear a Jim and a question mark. If you have a look on the bottom of the screen, there's this lovely little thing here that says Michael Billinghurst.
Yeah.
Pocket Collins is here as well. Don't shout you out? Yeah. Yeah, no shout outs for Pocket Collins. Alright, so up first we have Graham King from the team the Blue Ella Melbourne Blasters against Stephen Stamopoulos from team the Salt Mine. Looks like Stephen might be going to D sideboard.
may have been playing some games in the first repair and
Let me turn
quickly
off
checking.
this, actually, very quickly. That one there.
Yeah.
There we go. Cool, cool, cool. Pow, pow.
Yeah, we do believe Stephen is playing Rug Delver, but we're gonna
Steve on Delver, you reckon? Alright.
we'll just get some cards in play before.
Yeah, we'll leave it as a question mark.
Yeah.
I do actually have Graham's deck list somewhere laying around.
Yeah, can confirm. Definitely playing Food Chain.
Leave them where they are.
So, Moxing Day. 3 days.
3 days.
Today's Legacy. Tomorrow is, Highlander?
Somewhat Highlander. Yep.
And then Monday is Modern.
Yep.
Pretty exciting. Underground C for first place for each of these, I believe.
I think so. It's really cool to have like medium large tournaments in Melbourne. It's been a while since we've had some of those.
Absolutely, yeah.
Haven't played much of the of Paper Magic in the last 8 to 10 months.
Yeah,
so
I think that's true of most of the world, to be honest.
for sure. But we get the privilege of doing it again now. Rubbing people's face.
Coronavirus has really just, it hits the Paper Magic world pretty hard. Alright, players just preparing their stuff. I'm gonna see what this stream looks like. What if I do that? How does that look? That's fine. You know, the webcam quality's not aces, but it'll do fine.
Yeah.
That's the issues we have with the network in this place. It is what it is. What can you do?
That definitely looks like Rug Delver. I see a Dead Dreadful Arcanist and a Ponder on Stephen's side. So we're going to keep.
So, leading off with a Volcanic Island and some Glare.
It's a preordain, I think.
A preordain,
I can see it when his hand went over the card. You can cut out the glare.
We pulled a miracle to get the stream working. Look, Cat Gamer, it was it's been a wild ride, but here we are. We might poke our Gaffer Boy and see if we can find some sort of solution to the glare. Maybe hanging something in the window. The table is right in front of a window, which is great for having light, but unfortunately the light might just be in the wrong spot.
Steve's got almost the Dream Sight, a turn 2 Delver. Not quite who drew it up, but take it.
Yeah, turn 2 Delver. It was a turn 1 preordain. Unfortunately, one went to the bottom, so definitely no way to guarantee a Delver flip. I mean, I guess if it's the turn before the Delver, you can't guarantee it anyway. But why does that do that transition to there? I don't like that. Add transition. Nope, not that connection. Here we go. We're doing this live. Shift from table to table. There we go. Easy peasy. We'll do the same on Gatherer as well. You're sticking here with me. You know how it'd be. There we go. So now if I do that, it shouldn't do that thing that it just did. Nice.
Right, so Graham's got a Baleful Strix, which is a great way to deal with an incoming Delver. So, but back to the an age-old staring contest here of Delver versus Strix.
Yeah, look, that's definitely a battle that's played out in the past. Absolutely, it has.
We're gonna make it really obvious.
I've seen this. Ooh, a
I
favourite.
guess it's Grixis Delver, not
Force of
Delver.
Will. All right. All right.
Force of Will pitching Mist Hologriffin.
So is Force of Will a card we're going to be seeing a lot of today, Michael?
Yes, I would suspect so.
That really shouldn't be transitioning that way.
Legacy is defined by a couple of staples nowadays, and certainly Force of Will is one of the ones we expect to see
Yeah,
more of in a lot
absolutely.
of decks.
Definitely. I'm just doing some troubleshooting here, and Michael's going to talk while I
Yeah,
troubleshoot.
that's it. Force of Will is actually at its best in Graham's deck, as you saw he pitched Miss Hologriffin. I guess to offset the downside a bit.
That's really cute.
It's
I
really
like
sweet.
that.
So it's in exile. That's also functionally in his hand.
Yeah, that's
It's pretty handy.
kind of where he wants it. Hey.
Yep. So is that a second Force of Will there? I think that was a second Force on the Dreadhorde Arcanist. So Graham's just throwing off left and right. And hopefully he can find something proactive to do rather than just make a couple of Force of Wills.
Look, Force of Will's great at stopping what the opponent's doing, but as for advancing your own game plan, it leaves a little bit to be desired, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to get our producer... We might have to just mark off on the table where they can and can't put their life die here. It's just a little difficult for us to see their life totals. So, you should be able to see this on the laptop, right? Just make sure the dice stay on the
I'm
front.
gonna go put it.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. Thank you so much, producer. I mean, Gaffer Boy, whatever your person is. How many people managed to play today? 27 people in attendance today.
It's like a sweet turnout.
Pretty wild. People love their paper magic here, and they've just been fiending for it for, the entire time it's been missing, basically. So we see here, there's a Delver of Secrets, transformed. If I can find the button that transforms that, there we go. We've got an Insectile Aberration. It's nothing fancy. It's a 3/2 flyer, but it only costs 1 mana. That's kind of the key here.
Pretty good rate. Unfortunately, it doesn't match up well against the 1/1 flyer on the other side of the board. Draws a card nicely and offsets Delver. And so we're kind of back to a holding pattern. Looks like Steve's got a lot of cantrips and is looking for a lot of things, and Graham's got the answers. And so we're kind of stuck with Delver versus Strix.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it gets that way. Strix's job is to, hold down the fort and sort of gum up the ground a bit, up the air, I guess. Just keep things slowed down a bit.
That's a good one for Steve here. He's
Yeah.
trying to get around.
Look, if you're trying to play a slow game, Young Pyromancer has your number.
Graham has the third Force of Will. Just what he needed.
That's
And then we have a Force of Will back. Like Legacy, ladies and gentlemen. Legacy. But, some nice long fights over this. Pyromancer, but it looks like it finally ended up.
It's resolved, yeah. So that's always good. Those dice are perfect. That's great. Thank you, producer, Gaffer person.
Alright, so now the Young Pyromancer in play, which means Steve can finally actually start applying some pressure with something that doesn't die to Strix.
Is that I want to say that's a manipulate fate here.
Yep, that sounds about right. That's the kind of card Graham would play.
Do you want a snack?
Do I want a snack? I would love a snack.
Do you want a snack?
I'm back.
Oh man, coverage is a hard gig. People just offer you snacks left, right, and center.
Find it. I'll be back.
Yeah, sick. Thank you. Why is Stamopoulos' name just out of frame? I have to remember to fix that.
Too many names.
Too many names. It takes a lot to make a stew.
Alright, so we've got Manipulate Fate, the food chain special. Totally unplayable in any other deck, but in this case it's 1 and a blue, draw 4 cards.
Yeah, pretty good. Some would say pretty good.
So that's pretty good. So there's a nice large pile of Mist Hologriffins off on the side of Graham's board there, which I'm sure will show up at some point in this game.
Yeah, they're still on the frame, which is great.
And we can see Graham's hand is just food chains.
So we've got 2 food chains and an Eternal Scourge. Now Graham's deck is a really good one for coverage because 72 of the 75 cards are in Japanese.
Yep, if you want to read his cards, bad luck. I mean, you could speak Japanese, I guess.
Let's bring Food Chain up on the screen here though.
Let's explain what Graham's doing.
Yeah, it's not the most straightforward card in Magic. I mean, it's got a pretty simple ability, but the combination of how you win the game with it, that one's less simple
So
here.
Food Chain's a bit weird. It turns creatures into mana. and it's like, well, to stop you from looping with it, it puts creatures into exile.
So Stephen, sorry, just to quickly interject here. Stephen attacking with the Pyromancer, and Graham showing no intentions of blocking.
Yeah, I think it's because Graham needs the Strix in play for the food chain now.
The good news is they've moved the dice off the screen again, so I can't actually see what their life totals are. We're gonna have words with them in between rounds. I tell you what.
Yeah, so because Graham has those food chains, if he can get a Strix in play with the food chain, he can start
Very true.
going off. But he just couldn't find a second land after the wasteland. Never got the food chain in play. He was never able to achieve anything.
Well, I'm going to shift it back into the booth. Michael's going to have a chat to you while I yell at these players about their life dice and make sure that we can keep these life dice on the screen. This is Michael.
Hey.
If my transition button works, there we go. This is Michael. He's going to keep you company. I'll be back in just one moment.
Okay, so this is an interesting matchup for those of you who are a little familiar, because Trudane, while typically a combo deck, gets this neat interaction between Force of Will and Missile Griffin that means that you can pay your Force of Wills and pitch stuff and not end up down a card eventually, and that those Missile Griffins will keep coming back, because if you do end up in the graveyard, you can exile them through all sorts of methods, and they block Delve Sequence excellently. So it's this weird game plan of like, if Graham can get to turn 6, turn 7, Griffins will be on out forever, and Steve's job is to try and pinch on mana, on cards, and with his cheap spells, and get in some damage before Graham can get the inevitability engine going that he wants. Graham's helped in that regard with some Okros and some Uros, which do a great job of taking over the game. And whereas Steve's leaning on Delver of Secrets and Young Pyromancer and General Arcanist, which are very efficient threats to beat down with. I don't have sideboard lists here, unfortunately, but I'd suspect that Steve's looking to bring in some board seasons and some interactive spells, way cheap interaction with the combo, maybe some, and then Graham will be looking to board in extra ways to defend himself, maybe Carpet of Flowers to fight Wasteland. Some extra counter magic potentially, or some cheap removal spells to fight off Delves and Pyromancers. This is round 1. So still with round 1. Game 1 of round 1 went to Steve. Sideboarding going into game 2, round 1. 3 James Delver.
Way back. Hello, friends. I have returned. We can see. Well, you can see their life dice a little bit now. I can see them a lot more clearly, which is what I was hoping for. First round, did check on starting time. Yeah, look, the tournament was supposed to start at 11. We had some delays. You know, these things happen on large tournaments. But you know, got to keep moving forward. 5 rounds today, 27 players, cut to top 8 after the 5 rounds.
How have you been going?
Be with you for a lot more of today.
Oh yeah, we'll be here well into the evening, I think. Well, I will be at least.
There you go.
Michael is a free man and he can leave whenever he wants to.
I wouldn't want to miss out some legacy. That's good format. So shuffling up for game 2. I assume Graham will be on the play. Even Steve took that one.
Yeah, Stephen winning game 1 there. G'day. Our gracious tournament organizer has entered the room. Everything is working fine. Eventually. Yeah, so tomorrow's starting at 11 AM as well as Monday's stream. Tomorrow with some 7-point Highlander. How many teams 7-point scoop in the event today?
I think it's just Graham and Isaac?
Yeah, Graham and Isaac. And then the 2 of us in the booth providing some lovely commentary for you all. In between rounds, I'm going to need to troubleshoot this. I don't know why it's not using these, but we'll figure that out in between rounds. You get that. Sideboarding. What do you reckon? What would you expect to see from each of these players in the sideboards?
It's hard. The Grixis Delver sideboards get a lot of options. There's a lot of cards in 3 colors. The biggest one is Red Blast.
Red Blast, yep.
Coming in.
Okay.
Graham's definitely a deck that leads heavily with Force of Will, so Red Blast is really good there. And then, as well as maybe some extra disruption, be mana disruption or ways to destroy enchantments or something like that.
Yeah, Thoughtseize, always a good card here.
Like that. From Graham's side, the biggest card I've been looking for is Carpet of Flowers.
Okay.
as a way to fight Wasteland.
Sure. Yeah, carpet's a good one.
Otherwise, he's looking just like more ways to defend himself
So
from the combo.
I've got Graham's
Oh,
deck
excellent.
list here. I don't have access to Steven's deck list, but Graham's deck list here.
yeah, here we go.
Looking in the sideboard.
I think we'll be looking at certainly the Veiled Summers in the cup. And there's no carpet inside. I thought it would
No
be.
carpets.
Oh,
Very
interesting.
Plague Engineer. Would you bring in a Plague Engineer?
It does answer the elemental tokens, which is nice, which is a way to stop, and it can kill. Given that it can kill either Pyro or Delver on the spot if you need it.
Yeah, it's versatile in that if you're behind, you can chuck it on Elemental. If you're ahead, you can chuck it on Human. And it sort of locks Steven out from playing a Pyro or a Delver. They're both humans.
You also have the nice thing of head. It also turns off Dreadhorde Arcanist, because despite being a human wizard, if it's a 0-power human wizard, it isn't really doing a lot.
That's very true.
So I think that seems great here. As well as it just blocks. It is a 2/2 Death Touch.
Yeah, I mean, a 2/2 Death Touch is better than nothing, absolutely. Zombie Wizard. Okay, so you'd have to put it on Wizard.
Yes, you'd have to name Wizard,
And that would
which
be able to-
doesn't get Young Pyromancer.
Interesting.
But
interesting.
it's another option. It really does give you an answer to any threat you could come across out of the Delver deck.
That's nice and versatile. I like it. As well as you said, it's a 2/2.
Yeah.
You know, that power and toughness box is relevant words in this matchup. That was an early Force of Will there.
Because Graham is needing to get creatures in play in order to
Yeah, that's
do
right.
things. So having a creature in play that you can sack later is really useful.
That's right. That 2 mana you spend up front, you know, you reinvest that. It feeds you out 3 mana later, which is you know, always good for a combo deck when you have a critical mass of mana that you need on your combo turn.
So yeah, we saw a Force fighting over that Baleful Strix. We saw how much trouble Steven had with it in game 1.
Yeah, it just really slows the game down. And you see here, Steven followed it up with a Dreadhorde Arcanist. Really just wants the ability to attack with that the next turn and get this Preordain out of the graveyard.
Okay, get his card back. He sent on that Force of Will. He'll get it back with
That's
the
right.
Dreadhorde that can now attack. So
And when you factor in as well that the Baleful Strix would draw a card, it's, you know, you are 2 for 1ing yourself, but are you really 2 for 1ing yourself?
here we go. Got the Ponder. Preordain, I think, actually.
Preordain,
Yep.
yeah.
There we go. Let's see. Steve, what's his think about it? Does he like these ones? He does. That's never a good sign for if you're the opponent.
That's right. I think I saw a Force in there.
Well, that's a lot of blue cards.
There's at least a Force of Will in hand as well.
Second Arcanist.
Second Arcanist, a Brainstorm in response there. Now, the second Arcanist nowhere near as scary as the first one, right?
Yeah, for sure. Particularly if you have Graham has a lot of ways to sort of answer an Arcanist, whether it be Leovold, certain cantrips. The Plague Engineer, as we said, they can answer basically all of the ones in play at once.
Yeah, and there's a Delver of Secrets following it up as well. If there's a Plague Engineer here, this would be huge for Graham. He's tapping 3 mana. What's he got? A Leovold.
That's also pretty good.
Alright.
That's getting Force straight away. Yeah.
Force, removing Brainstorm there.
That Brainstorm wasn't doing much of it. Leovold's in play, so
Very true, very true. A little bit frustrating for Steven there. You know, the Brainstorm, it's a key cantrip, but also having it with the Dreadhorde Arcanist means that's 2 Brainstorms he just lost there.
yeah, because unfortunately Force does put it in exile on the graveyard.
Important note is that Steven's Preordain left both on top, and there's a Delver in play. So
Graham's brainstorming in response to the Force, looking for way more, some form of extra interaction, be it another Force of Will, or I don't think there's any other 0 mana interaction in his deck. So there's no dazes or anything hiding out here.
that's right. There might be Force of Negation, but Force of Negation's not really going to help us out here. Let's have a look here. 4 Force of Will, 1 Force of Negation in the sideboard. No days, as you said.
Yeah, looks like he didn't find his Force of Wills, and now there's suddenly a lot of pressure on the side of it.
There's a lot of pressure. Yeah, that Delver of Secrets transforming. Ponder coming down.
Oh, that Ponder's good. And a Bolt too. That's a lot of damage.
That's a Bolt and a Sinkhole?
That's a lot of damage represented there. 'Cause if that Bolt's representing another 6 damage, because the Dreadholde's going to hit it back.
Sorry, Steven's playing Sinkhole?
Just a 5th Wasteland.
Just a 5th Wasteland.
Sometimes you want more Wastelands, and you can't play anymore. So. Alright, that's... Graham's got... really has a turn here. This is... If Steve gets another combat step, there's probably not much more Graham's doing after that.
Pyromancer and the Elemental, this is a lot of pressure. Graham's on 12. There's what, 3, 6, 8 power in play.
Plus the double bolt from the... He
Bolt.
doesn't know about that, but...
Bolt plus Arcanist. Look, I mean, in Graham's position, you're playing around a Bolt.
Yeah.
Playing around 2 is a little more difficult. Like, there's really nothing you can do to play around 2 Bolts.
Yep, so unless Graham has... He has, what, 6 cards in hand here or so hopefully he can find something to do. But...
Well, we're back on Steven's turn.
That's not...
He's untapped. We see a Ponder coming down, and there's really no disadvantage to casting these Ponders and Preordains pre-combat. Dreadhorde Arcanist letting you rebuy them in the combat step is... it's a lot of cards to try to battle through. It's a lot of work. And I don't think Steven has had an unsatisfactory Ponder or Preordain all day.
I haven't seen many scratches at the bottom of many shuffles, so...
I mean, that said, what would you bottom here? Or what would you shuffle?
That's a difficult question. I think you'd have to have like 3 lands, and then even
Sure.
We've got 2 decays for the 2 General Arcanists,
Okay.
maybe? Or for the Delver and the Arcanist.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, in Steve's position here, if you see a cantrip, then that's it's a pseudo divination in this position.
Yeah, Cantrip's great, Wasteland's great, Bolt's great, Boltis is great. I think you bottom extra creatures.
Yeah, I mean maybe less so now that there's some pair of abrupt decays coming out.
Yeah, I feel like you wouldn't be excited about Delver of Secrets, but basically everything else is great.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even though the Pyro would be great because it's just a lot more cards.
Very true. So the attack coming across here for 4 looks like they're just trying to figure out something with the number of elemental tokens or something along those lines.
I think it's just trying to figure out how many they should have after the Arcanist triggers and stuff. There's a bunch of things going on.
And being a competitive rules enforcement level tournament, there is a judge on hand. So for discussions and disagreements along these lines, there's always going to be the ability to ask for help.
Graham's going to 8. There is that bolt in Steve's hand, so still presenting lethal in next turn. So Graham's still under a lot of pressure, but this food chain deck can kill very quickly. So.
Absolutely. It'd be difficult to see a win coming from here. It'd have to be, I guess, land, food chain, Strix, draw something.
I mean, land, food chain, Strix gives you the Eternal Scourge into the 3 creatures that are currently in exile. That gives you 3 blockers, and then if you can draw into like a Walking Ballista or something, that's lethal. But
win the game, yeah.
Even just an Uro will let you get out of range.
Yeah, Uro's a good dog here. Very important tool for this deck.
Yeah, Uro is really cool with this deck as well because you can sack it and you can exile it in response to the trigger if you have a second one.
Cute.
So you can buy back mana with it if you have Progenitor play.
I was talking to Graham yesterday. He used to play a Relic of Progenitus in the main deck. As a if your Mist Hollow Griffin gets lightning bolted, for example, it's not much use to you in the graveyard, and with Deathrite Shaman gone, you needed a way to rebuy it from the graveyard. But he cut the Relic because Uro just does the job better and is a card with words on it.
Yeah, it turns out that if you can just if you actively want to put your graveyard in exile, Uro's pretty good.
Yeah, or if you don't.
Well, if you don't, that's too.
If you've got the interest of playing Magic. Oh, the
Here's the
sinkhole, baby!
Yeah, it's hard to see a world with that sinkhole resolves and Graham wins.
Very true here, very true.
Oof.
So taking out the tropical island here, just sort of trying to restrict Graham's coloured options here.
So I mean, I guess Graham could force the negation the lightning bolt,
Sure.
and then he wouldn't be dead on board.
Sure.
But that's not looking great. Alternatively, if Plague Engineer here would be really good.
Plague Engineer here would be, pretty good. It'd, sweep up the tokens and then probably block the Arcanist.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get bolted.
Instead,
there we go.
we see a
Instead,
handshake.
Graham has nothing at all, and that was a quick one.
Yeah, that was, Sinkhole. What year is it? It is the bright, ripe year of 2020. As we come back into the booth here. Moxing Day 2020, hosted by Tabernacle Games at Maze of Fitzroy. That was the first round, and that was really just a showcase of Delver of Secrets being the fun police on the format,
Yeah, just like if you take a little bit too long to do something, and Delver's there to hit you with the 4 copies of Sinkhole on the deck.
Hold up, we're going back to the table here. Why is there 4 sinkholes on the table? What is Steven doing?
I mean, apparently this is just like, this is a 2020 metagame, right? Of all the legacy games that have been covered in Melbourne in 2020, there's been 4 sinkholes on one side of the table.
Very true, very true. I mean, of all the games that I've cast this year, there's been 4 sinkholes, you know?
Yeah, this is just the metagame now, guys. You might not like it, but this is peak performance.
Alright, friends, we're going to pop out of the booth here. We're going to see what's going on in the room. If there's still some time in the... didn't know commentary was on Ninja Tribal, I like it. If there's still time in between the round, I might see if I can drag Steven in here and question him about those sinkholes. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all in just a sec. Right on. I'm joined here in the booth by our winner of our last feature match there, Steven Stamopoulos.
What up, what up, what up?
You've got to answer the big question from chat. Sinkhole, what year is it?
Sinkhole is very good if they don't have Astrums.
Arkham's Astrolabe?
Arkham's Astrolabe, that's
Okay,
the one.
yeah,
I'm a bit
sure.
out of it. So the last tournament I actually did well in was post Deathrite Shaman ban.
Yep.
Grixis control, Falcon control was everywhere. This was pre, like, Arkhams and all that stuff.
Yep.
And Sinkhole is very good at destroying mana bases without Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And I haven't played a game of Magic in, I don't know, 8 months or something.
Yeah, none of us have. It's
Only goblins on Moto.
I saw someone playing Vintage Goblins on Moto the other day.
Yeah,
It was...
he was doing really well.
Yeah.
But he's like a great goblins player.
And then there was someone playing against him with like 3 chills in play. It was not a good time.
Is it why he's chilling vintage?
I have no idea.
Okay. It's the new meta. Goblins is the new
That's
meta.
it. So you took out that win. That was against Graham on Food Chain. Is Food Chain a good matchup, bad matchup, in between? What do you reckon?
It's actually a very bad matchup, but I have an exceptional amount of luck against Graham.
Okay.
I haven't lost to him in a few years now.
You stole one from him, huh?
Every time, and it's so unfair. He was paired up against like a really good player before, and he must have thought, great, I get to play against like Steve. This guy's like a drooling, like neck beard.
Yeah, free wins.
And then he gets, and then
You just... I mean...
then he just like lucks out. Like I think his draws are pretty terrible, right? Like he had nothing going on, and
Yeah, definitely. They were just a little bit clunky. I mean, that's the thing. The Delver deck puts on a lot of pressure. The Arcanists. It's a hell of a card.
Arcanist is nuts.
I saw the card when
That
it
is
was
nuts.
spoiled, and it was, you know, fine. It was pretty exciting. Like, here's this cool card, but it's defining this deck. You know, is it the best threat in the deck?
That was the main reason I played Grixis over Bug.
Okay.
So I normally quite like Bug Delver because you get Tarmogoyf, Abrupt Decay, and Thoughtseize, which is all very good, but Arcanist does everything. And I'm not a big fan of like preordains. Like I just think it's bad. Like
Sure.
it's bad for coverage, it's bad for gameplay, it's bad for everything. But Arcanist like sort of forces your hand into playing more one seamsing spells. So I've got 3 Thoughtseize,
Yeah.
2 preordain, and then the usual all the other cards.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Force of Negation was really powerful. Like I had that in my closing hand both
Yeah.
games.
How many are you playing?
2.
Okay.
So it's
So four Force of Will, 2 Force
2
of
Force
Negation.
Negation, and the rest is just cantrips. And I've got 2 Bedlam Reveler
Ooh, in the board or in the main?
in the main.
That's
So that's like my
that's
gas
a
up card against.
Spicy meatball. All right.
Well, I just figured like there'd be like a lot of control or Rug Delver. I sort of wanted a card to go over the top.
Yeah, yeah.
still-
I mean, it's big. It's what, a 3/4 prowess?
Yeah. So with Arcanist and like Pyromancer, there's like a lot of like cute synergies that just like really work well together.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, thanks for coming into the booth. Thanks
for having me.
4 sinkholes.
4 Sinkhole in the sideboard. I mean, if I had a Wasteland to follow that up with, it would have been back on turn 2.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. We're going to send it back to the BRB screen. There's about 15 minutes left in the round. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck for the other rounds. Steve.
Shout out to Omega Jiu Jitsu, George Soteropoulos.
Cheers, Stephen.